Good morning, dear students, and welcome back to your English grammar class. In our previous class, we studied about clauses. In today's lesson, we are going to read and understand about conditional sentences. Let us read a few examples. If I play all day, I will be very tired. If I sleep early at night, I can get up early in the morning. These sentences tell us that something is necessary or must happen before another thing happens. Each sentence tells us that a certain situation must exist for a condition to be fulfilled. A sentence that has two clauses, one that tells us about a condition and the other that tells about the result, is called a conditional sentence. A conditional sentence is used to talk about a result that may happen only if a condition happens first. A conditional sentence is made of two parts: if clause and a main clause. For example, if it rains, we will cancel the trip. Here, the words if it rains combine and make the conditional or the dependent clause, and we will cancel the trip is the main clause. Now, there are four kinds of conditional sentences: zero conditional sentences, first conditional sentences, second conditional sentences, and third conditional sentences. The zero conditional sentences are used to talk about scientific facts and general truths. For example, if you freeze water, it turns into ice. In a zero conditional sentence, we use the simple present tense in both the clauses. We can see the example: if you freeze water, here the first verb is freeze, which is in the simple present. The second condition or the main clause is turn into ice. Here, turns is the second verb, which is also in the simple present tense, and it talks about the general truth that when we freeze water, it turns into ice. The first conditional sentences are used to talk about a possible condition in the present or future and its likely results. For example, if it is hot, I will go for a swim. In a first conditional sentence, we generally use simple present tense in the if clause. That is, if it is hot, here is the simple present, and the simple future tense in the main clause. For example, I will go for a swim. Here, will go is the simple future. Second conditional sentences are used to talk about a condition in the present or future, and it is very unlikely that this condition will be fulfilled. For example, if they invited me to the party, I would go. Now, here the condition is if they invited, which is very unlikely to happen. They might not invite me. So, the result is I would go. The condition would be fulfilled. In a second conditional sentence, we use the simple past tense in the if clause, that is invited here, and the would plus base form of the verb in the main clause, that is would go. Third conditional sentences. The third conditional sentences are used to talk about an unfulfilled condition in the past, something which did not complete because of the past. For example, if you had studied harder, you would have passed. In a third conditional sentence, we use the past perfect tense in the if clause. In this sentence, it is had studied something which might have happened in the past, and the would have plus past participle form of the verb in the main clause, that is you would have passed something. If it would have happened in the past, the result would have been in the future. So, we know that conditional sentences are those sentences which have two clauses. One is the if clause and the other one is the main clause. For zero conditional sentences, the if clause uses simple present and so does the main clause, that is the simple present. For first conditional sentences, the if clause uses the simple present tense and the main clause uses the simple future tense. For second conditional sentences, the if clause uses the simple past tense and the main clause uses would plus the verb. For third conditional sentences, the if clause uses past perfect tense and the main clause, that is the result, uses would have plus the past participle of the verb. So that will be all for today's class. We will meet again in the next grammar class, and until we meet again, stay safe, stay healthy and keep learning.